Welcome to partialarc.com. Don't do that.
You find yourself in a tavern.
Oh, we should have checked for traps.
I knew he forgot something.
I think I can reason with him.
You killed his father.
Can I have sex with it?
You could certainly try.
I'm gonna touch a sword.
Don't touch the sword!
The child is evil, right?
Obviously.
I could cast Fireball.
Always cast fireball.
All right, roll for it. Welcome to Friday Night Quests. I'm your host, Jay Jones. This week we bring you our special bonus Aftermath episode for our spooky Halloween adventure, run by Daniel Fernandez. We'll sit down with Daniel as well as the other players, and we'll talk about the inspiration for this adventure, the value of doing a zero session, and some of those crazy decisions the party members made. You know, like murdering servants to gain dark powers. You guys remember that, right? When Luca and Katya totally killed two unarmed servants to get magic powers? That was pretty dark, right? Anyway, without further ado, let's get to our conversation with the cast.
All right, guys, welcome to the Aftermath. We're sitting here with a bunch of people, some voices you probably heard in a couple of recent episodes. All of them, basically. Jay Jones, sitting here.
Hi.
Jeffrey Gardner.
Hello.
Sandra Frame.
Hello.
And our Dungeon Master, Daniel Fernandez.
That's me.
And we're going to talk a little bit about how this adventure came together, because
Who are you, voiceless figure?
they don't get to know that.
Or figureless voice?
It's Mike.
It's Mike Christensen. I'm that person. When we were trying to figure out what to do for our October season, Jay and I had a conversation about what we were going to fill the time with. We had a little bit of a scheduling issue where we couldn't do a Velvet League adventure.
I believe the professional term is snafu.
It was not quite a snafu because we saw it coming.
You're right.
We're like, this is not going to work. But I like the word snafu, so I'd like to keep saying it as many times as possible.
There we go.
So when we were dealing with this snafu, we thought, how can we snafu our ways out of this snafu?
Oh boy.
And we thought, you know who'd be great? I don't know anyone's named Snafu.
Yeah,
so
I know you're really trying to figure it out.
Second runner-up.
You didn't see those cartoons with Sergeant Snafu? It's like these old... Never mind.
It
Okay.
sounds like someone that would like teach you to always dial your parents if you're in
Snafu
trouble.
apparently stands
I don't
for
know.
situation normal, all effed up.
Yeah. No, the Sergeant Snafu, he was like... It was these old World War II comics
Yeah,
and
I've
like
seen those.
cartoons that he would like mess up everything. He'd be like, if you're a soldier, don't do that.
I had no idea.
I'm a historian.
That's true.
In my day job.
Daniel does study history.
And his Twitter is Daniel the Historian.
You
Not-
wear a fedora and often break into caves and old ancient sites?
Not so much, no.
Oh, okay.
Fedora's been taken by... Anyway.
You lost it, finally?
Yeah, these guys came. Well, Mike is the one who messaged me and said like, "Hey, Daniel, do you wanna run something for us?" And I immediately said, "Awesome! I've got this Call of Cthulhu game I want to play." And there's like, "Well, we should stick to more typical fantasy." All right, cool. Then we'll do something in Dungeon World. And he was like, "Well, no, we're doing D&D." And I was like, "Ugh." And then I was like, "Oh no, wait, I've got this good idea."
Yeah,
So,
you got a really good idea, actually.
Yeah.
And because we came to you basically with the premise of like, how can we tie this into Stu, and maybe, and based on talking about that, you were like, what if he's telling a scary story? And we're like, more of that, what you said and more of it.
Yeah, because I don't know all of the... I can't say I'm an expert at all of the Friday Night Quest canon, and I didn't want to say something that didn't count. But if it was like, oh, it's a story he's telling, it's non-canon, folks.
Right.
So you could do whatever you want.
It's a way we could be canon, but also non-canon.
Exactly.
It's as canon as you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the Domains of Dread do exist. Maybe Stu's been to one.
Right now, it's all expanded universe material.
Yeah, exactly. This is Legends.
And then we kind of figured out who our party could be, and we brought in Jeffrey and Sandra, and we decided to do something that we rarely do in our regular games,
True.
but really should do, which is a zero session. And we've talked about this a little bit on the podcast, and I've written about it before on the website, but zero sessions are when you basically all sit down together and say, hey, here are our characters. And for this one, it was especially useful because we all had spooky secrets.
Spooky secrets.
And dark backstory.
Also, I guess, like, shitty secrets as well. Like, some spooky, but also some just like, man, like, that's messed up.
That
Yeah.
was mostly what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say less
Weren't
spooky,
too
more
many
shitty for
spooky
sure.
More like some people were murdered, some people married people that they shouldn't have because
Some
they
people-
murdered their previous
Yeah, to be
partner.
honest, this story was less spooky and more like sort of grim and dark, but
Yeah.
not grim dark, because that's another thing.
It's a different podcast.
Oh, no.
So I came up with the idea for the backstory on this one. I was going on like a short little 4-day weekend vacation with my wife, and we ended up going to the Hearst Castle.
Ooh.
Like that huge castle built by that bastard Hearst, who got us into war and was terrible.
Thank you, that's helpful.
that's because that was before we found out he was like, you know, he had like dragon blood and like he did a lot of cool stuff later on. But like, yeah.
Well, historically, I have some problems with him, but he's got a nice house. And I went to his nice house, which is a site that's been donated, and everybody could see his nice house. And I kept thinking like, oh man, this guy is just the pits. This guy is the worst.
Is it because when he died, he was like, my house is so nice, I'll make tours happen through my house? Because that
Pretty
is
much,
still
yeah.
kind of like, my house is so great. People are going to want to see the inside of my house.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And, you know, and having his crazy sex parties up there and whatnot. And I was thinking like,
Wait, huh?
look, we can't have a
I
sidetrack.
think we've got a lot
Hearst.
of time to talk about her.
Yeah, I mean, we're not doing anything else, Daniel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you should go there sometime. And that sex parties are more hearsay. I don't want to quote anything on that. But anyway,
Do they still have them?
well, you know, the last
Are you
person to use that
encouraging us
place
to go
outside of
to-
a museum was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Rented it out for.
It's possible.
I think with Schwarzenegger, I think there was a very good possibility.
Guys, you heard it here
actually.
first. Confirmed on Friday Night Quest. Sex parties going on at Hearst Castle. Don't even ask. Go there and just get ready.
Anyway, so I was thinking, man, this big old house is super cool. There's literally secret doors in it, and that he would come out of to impress his guests, which is like, ugh.
I mean,
God,
that's pretty
this
cool.
guy.
Amazing.
It is like, it's super cool, and I think it might have been fun to go up there and have like a party if I was like a Hollywood star like back then. Though he apparently forced all of his guests to like do plays for him and stuff. He would just come out and be like, "Here are some props. Do plays for me. Amuse me. I'm a
That's-
billionaire."
That's amazing.
And I just thought of it more and more like, this guy is a villain. This guy is the worst.
Well, this is a guy who was sitting around being like, I have so much money. Should I like help cities or like donate to charities or build elaborate crazy like traps in my house and like
And then
secret
offer it up
rooms?
for
Also, we
tours.
started the Spanish-American War. So,
But
like, that's a
let's
thing.
be real.
Oh, yeah, that
Who
thing.
doesn't? Who's never had that dream of like, if I could design whatever house I wanted, these are all the things that it would have. And this guy did
True
it. So
story.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually unfinished because he kept
Follow
trying to
your
do more and
dreams,
more
kids.
things.
It's,
But
you might say, wish fulfillment.
yes. So anyway,
Thanks for bringing it back, Mike.
Like that podcast we did.
I was thinking, what if we set it inside like a giant spooky house, and you would get the old, like, this billionaire would be inviting people into his spooky house, and you would explore his spooky house. And admittedly, after I started writing the adventure, the spooky house sort of took a back seat once I decided he was a vampire, and I came up with the idea that part of the island would always be lit and part of it would always be dark. And then, you know, we sort of got off from there. But my original plan, it was just going to be like more of a standard dungeon crawl in a spooky house. But that was actually going to take something like 5 hours. And I was like, okay, well, maybe this it's going to be recorded. I need to change this up a little bit. But then I was like, okay, so why would people be going to the spooky house? And then I was like, okay, cool. They all knew him back in the day. So then we sort of, you know, sketching stuff out, figuring out. It's like, okay, cool. Well, if they all knew him back in the day, that means the party should all know each other, and we need to figure out, like we were talking about in the Zero session,
Yep.
you know, to bring it back to that after my weird tangent.
You mean answering the question I asked you?
This is true, answering the question. Yeah, I figured we should sit down and get stuff together, and I found out it was, and I've played with all of you guys before. Mike was running a D&D campaign for all of us that we were in, and a couple other people, and
True story.
while that did sort of, you know, that, whatever, that
You can
that
read all
ended.
about how that ended on the website.
Yes.
Great cliffhanger.
But it was great to get everybody together. So we picked a Saturday that everybody could get it. And I was like, okay, so with a Zero session, you want to have like the actual things that people are looking for. Because if you don't have guidance to give people, you don't have like anything. It's just like, well, I'm a monk, I'm a druid, I'm a wizard, I'm a princess, like, you know, whatever. Which is
It's a very underused class.
I was gonna say, what?
my wife, whenever we do D&D stuff, wants to figure out how she can be a princess. I love you, sweetie. But not every time, but the very first time we played, she was like, I want to be a princess. I want to be an elf princess.
I was gonna say she has to go with the elven class.
Yeah, she was an elf princess.
Yeah.
Then she became a wizard, just like, man, there's too many rules and too many spells.
Oh, see, that's yes.
Yeah.
It's usually my go-to.
Yeah. I needed everybody to come up with like a secret and what's the worst thing that they had ever done. That was the main thing that I wanted you to figure out.
And I think those were two great questions to like
And they
prompt
had to be different answers as
character development. Yeah. I thought it was excellent. And it made the Zero session, it gave us all a lot more focus. Instead of just being like, what is my backstory? Well, I grew up here and then all of this happened. Like it was much more like get these two things and then we build around it, which was great.
And the appeal of a Zero session too is that you are building a backstory with the other people, because anyone can just go and say, okay, come back to me and tell me your character and this thing you've done in your past, and then you as a DM can just sort of figure out how to put everyone together. But to actually sit down and have everyone say, okay, you all are going to know this secret that your characters aren't going to know. So everyone, when we started the game and started recording it, everyone knew that Luca had married Vincent's wife. You know, everyone knew that Katya had killed Evanescence. No.
You mean the band?
Yes, the band.
She killed the entire band.
The whole band.
Evanescence.
No, it was Etheria.
Etheria.
I almost
It's
said
been
something
like a little. It's been a little while
weeks,
since we played.
Yeah.
I'm proud you remembered because I didn't. I sure didn't.
I know. I was like, I got it. I wanted to say like Lunestra. I'm like, that's not right.
Awesome.
Could use some of that.
But yeah, we all sort of like, we knew going in, like, okay, we are going to be at odds with each other when we learn these secrets. And not all of them came to light. So we should probably...
Yeah, I guess not all of them did come to light.
We should probably go around and shine a little light on what our characters' secrets were and what the worst thing we'd done was.
All right, Jay, you want to go first on that one?
Sure.
You're at the end of the table here, so I'm choosing you.
Fair enough.
I'm the game master, damn it.
Well done. I was playing the character Ash. And Ash, the worst thing he had ever done is basically tied to why he's a warlock. He was made a warlock because his father was an asshole and made a dark pact with a kind of like Cthulhu-esque god, and in return offered his son up as, you know, basically an offering. And so his son was kind of burdened with this, and when the son, you know, for years thought that he was tortured, like mentally, like he was hearing voices and things like that, and when he finally found out that this was all the cause by his father, as a boy he came home and he killed his dad. And that's basically the worst thing he's ever done. And then as far as secrets that came to light, when he was with the group previously going on adventures, they knew he was struggling with this dark side of him, this spirit that was trying to like take him over and make him his servant of him. And they knew that. When he returned to them, he constantly throughout the adventure was like, I'm fine, guys, I'm fine. The truth of the matter was that this spirit had gotten even deeper into Ash's character, and he had let it in even farther, and was really very much so endangering the group by doing that. So that was the worst thing he'd ever done, and his dark secret.
Yeah, and we sort of covered that, but yeah, no, that's good to hear it all sort of spelled out. Like, I don't think we talked about how you killed your dad. Like, that
I don't think that came up.
That didn't come up. It didn't really come up. It died a long time ago. It didn't matter anymore.
That guy, whatever.
Yeah, screw that guy.
You also had another name that we never heard
That's
on the show.
right.
And I forgot it. I couldn't pronounce it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. I probably should have said it, but I couldn't pronounce it.
I believe it was Kavashanun, and it's basically like, it definitely has like a Hellboyish feel to it.
Yeah.
But the idea is this creature calls him by this name,
Yeah.
and he refuses to go by it and goes by his monk name.
And I'm a bad dungeon master, and I forgot it when we sat down.
Hey,
So
you had a lot of things to juggle during that session. A lot of
He
secrets,
did. Yeah.
a lot of past stuff.
Yeah.
It was a complex adventure.
yeah.
Jeffrey, let's talk a little bit about Xerek.
Xerek, the worst thing he'd ever done is it was a honeypot type of situation where in order to get information, he infiltrated this close family and became particularly close to one of its members. He started a relationship with them and ended up turning on the family, and in the ensuing fight, most of them were slain. And so that sort of woke him up on how the path he was heading on probably wasn't the best one to be going on. And so I'm trailing off because I can't remember what my secret was. Do you?
It probably wasn't important then.
Well, yes.
Wasn't it like that you were like a prince, or like you had...
That
I didn't know
was-
about that.
No,
Yeah,
the
I
prince,
had no idea
that was
coming,
my
which
secret.
was
Oh, that's
amazing.
Oh, was the secret that you didn't know? I don't remember.
No, you wanted to figure out what the deal was with your past. Like, that was...
Right,
I
because, well, part of the stuff I discovered, when I was researching tieflings is that because all of my family is human, I'm the only tiefling involved, and for years I didn't know why that was, and so the secret that was a secret, I guess, and about 5 or so years before our current adventure started, I had aggressively given that up and just like, I don't care, I swear I don't care. And then
I remembered your secret. It had to do with fortune telling.
The tarot card. Yeah, I've got it right here.
It's right. Thank you.
It's right here. Yeah.
So and the secret was that I had a tarot reading shortly before our adventure started, and I was told, if you go, one of you will die, but you will find the answers you seek.
Yeah.
And I apparently decided that was worth the
I
risk.
believe the phrasing was, someone will die and you may discover the answers. Because you had decided it's worth the risk.
And he was like, I'll roll the dice on that.
And you didn't know that we were going to be there. Just like, someone will die.
Right.
I think you said a little bit about like when you saw the cards, like you mentioned something though.
I think he did. Yeah.
I floated it, but it never really came to light.
Guys, this just happened for us like a week ago. Just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if anyone knows my secret.
Memory.
I don't know if anyone knows my secret.
Yeah, yours kind of was central.
Yeah, mine became very clear because as we were building our characters, everyone was like, because like we had the backstory of we fought over the wish. We had we described it as a Civil War style situation where you had Luca and Xerek and Flint were all trying to get the secret. They wanted the secret, whereas the other three, Katya, Ash, and Vincent, were reticent at the very least. And we had this clash, but then when Luca actually killed Vincent in the heat of battle with the hammer he'd found in the temple, everyone was like, okay, this has gone too far, except for Flint, who was like, yoink, wish me goodbye. And that worked out so well for him. Well, he got his comeuppance.
He sure did.
And so did I.
You sure did.
But it was very clear as we were developing, because there was that moment, we were trying to figure out the secrets, and I was like, well, should I have killed? No, it's something else. And then I remember I rolled for a random trinket, which is something you can do in 5th edition, and I rolled for I got a brass ring that never tarnishes, and I was thinking, okay, a ring, something. Oh, what if I have a wedding ring? Oh, what if it's Vincent's? Oh, what if I used it to marry his wife too? Oh, what if I'm married to his wife? That alone, that you don't need to actually have his actual ring. That alone is awful enough.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then making it clear, no, he did not tell her what happened.
Nope.
Just married her.
And that was the secret that I think the group had the most fun playing around with, mostly because just kept calling him on it.
Yeah.
I liked that quite a bit.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
Well,
fun.
I mean, it was so terrible.
Yeah.
What was a lot of fun for me was there was a conversation where we almost kind of came to talking about it, and then we didn't.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
which made it, when it did come out later, all the more, rewarding. But yeah.
And I'd like to come back to that, but I do think it is important sometimes, and maybe it's just for the fun of the podcast, but I think there is something fun about knowing a little bit about the secrets of others when you're doing a game like this, because it allows you to play to conversations or scenarios where those will reveal themselves.
Yeah, I'm a big fan in most of the stuff that I do in terms of secrets. I think everybody should know the secrets that are involved. Now, that doesn't always count. There's a couple things here and there where I think it works differently. But in most situations, I think everybody knowing the secrets, if your players are willing to engage with it and work with it, and I feel like my main group is finally almost there.
We're getting there.
Yeah, after years of nonsense.
It's only been 9 years, but we're getting there.
Yeah, exactly. That you're able to, deal with the secrets, and those can make the more interesting story. It's a little awkward on the podcast because, like, we knew the secrets, and it was like, well, you guys as the audience didn't necessarily know the secrets, but we were having fun, so, whatever.
I think we knew, too, that we were performing them and we were playing them out in interesting ways. We were still learning about them as characters.
Yeah. But Sandra, we don't want to skip you.
Oh, well, I mean, mine came out in the game as well.
Exactly.
But that was a little by my choice. How I played my character was along the lines, I figured that it was kind of a situation where let bygones be bygones with the group, and I made her a little more forthcoming about things that had happened. So with her killing Etheria.
Sure.
Wasn't that it?
Yeah, I think you said Etheria.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Etheria.
Etheria.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
yeah. So,
We're going to go back to the
Wake
episode.
me
It's
up
going to be like
inside,
something
yeah.
completely else.
wake up!
Oh, yeah, that's Etheria. Yeah.
It's going to be Katie.
But yeah, I felt like she would be forthcoming because I think she was through with the way things ended, and was like, okay, well, here's where we are now. Let's put everything on the table.
How did you guys feel about the, like, this is sort of a darker adventure. Like, there's like, hey, you guys are killing people in cold blood. Like, did you expect it to go that direction? Were you surprised at the direction your characters went?
I wasn't surprised that it went that direction because you and I had had a conversation about bringing in a mechanic from Ravenloft, I want to say it was?
Ravenloft. Yeah, I ended up changing it around a little bit. There's the old Ravenloft stuff in like 2nd edition. You would roll whenever you did evil things, and like the domains of dread would like screw with you and things would happen. And you would get powers, but when you used them, you got more points until you got trapped. But I don't know. It took a while to try to adapt that, and I made up like 3 different tables of like rolling dice, and I was like, this is stupid.
I think it was fun though, because I think it, as a storytelling mechanic, it was not only for us to have a good touch point of how corrupted we were getting, but it's also like kind of like a nice build from a storytelling perspective. It's like they're getting darker, like shit's getting bad.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, like the people that were the darkest were the ones that were straight up killing people, so it almost didn't even matter the points that were
I'd like
involved.
to ask real quick, Sandra and Mike, when was the moment where you guys were just like fully committed to like, yeah, this character's gonna kill some innocent people? Was it when you actually took the item from the temple, or was when it was just like, yeah? Because like for Sandra, like Mike, you already had your weapon,
Right?
Yeah.
But Sandra, you were like, oh, I gotta like kill people to use this. All right, cool. I'm gonna do that for sure.
Okay.
Mike did that too.
With what I had learned about my weapon, it became a necessary evil because I knew what we were going to be going up against. So once I realized, oh, we're going up against a vampire, and I had this weapon that would be incredibly useful to defeat him.
And you're just one murder shy of having the power to do it.
I mean, and it was one of those situations where, okay, you sacrifice one for the greater good.
The greater good.
And what was his name?
Whose?
The one who died, so that a vampire might perish.
I have no idea.
Yeah, actually, I'm asking the wrong person. Daniel, what was his name?
Alex.
Oh, that's amazing. I used to date a guy named Alex. It's perfect.
We remember you
Perfect.
fondly, Alex.
Yes. No, that was really her sole reason behind it. And I was like, okay, for the greater good of everybody, I have to do this.
And I gave you the weapon that had to do with the sun, first of all, because I wanted to have an extreme backup measure in case you got into a really long fight with the hag and her house, that you would be able to maybe defeat the vampire more quickly.
That house was pretty strong.
Well, if
that
you
house.
just ripped the orb out, the house would have stopped.
Well, I tried.
Whatever. But I also knew from our 0 session that it seemed like Sandra's character, oh my gosh, I forgot it, Katya, was the one who seemed to want to get away the most from sort of the darkness. I thought that you might be the closest to the good character,
right?
Which is why I wanted to give you something that would explicitly require you to kill to have a weapon that would,
Yeah, you went for it.
As the representative of the dark powers, they're all about corrupting people.
It was for the greater good. I stand by my actions. It was for I saved the team, well, at least, except for...
And you got a really nice house out of the deal, and an island.
I did.
True.
Yeah, as long as you never admit that you made a mistake, you'll never leave either.
I know, it's amazing.
It's great, right?
There's always a way out.
I just block these mistakes out of my mind. I'm going to live like a queen.
Exactly.
And you do.
I know. I mean, at least I'm not a vampire.
True.
Yeah. I wish I had a time to figure out like some terrible consequence to be punishing you.
Hers was just like, I get a sweet island. Murder is great.
Yeah, that
Well,
island.
I think the red sun stays up, doesn't it? Forever.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah.
red sun never goes away.
Yeah. We would, yeah. I'd have to figure out how you would be tortured, but I'm not that creative.
I think it was pretty creative enough.
No, I know, but I spent a long time creating one ironic punishment that could never be escaped. I need to come up with another one for an assassin.
And I'd like to call out, we talked a little bit about how we knew the secrets ahead of time, but literally all the other actions that the characters took during the game, we had no idea what was going to happen or what our characters were going to do. I was very realistically surprised when both Mike and Sandra just straight up went into a room and were like, yeah, all right, and I just murdered this person. I was just like, wow.
Me too.
It was to save you.
Okay.
Said the villain.
Still made it horrifying.
It was to save you.
We're the only sane people here, Sandra. We're the only ones who understand.
Man, the kids from Stu's Ghost Story got a really twisted moral out of this tale.
How old are these guys?
And kids, listen, if a sun god gives you a sword, kill someone and you'll get an island.
Also, if someone asks you if you're a god, You say yes.
Yes, I've been told that that's a good thing to do. I see now this is just turning into me wanting to ask you, like, did I do good? Did it work? Sort of thing.
I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed the adventure.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it was a
great
good time. I liked the dark PowerPoints.
Yeah, I love that stuff. It was very fun, and I thought the tropical island paradise bit was so great. Who is the mayor of the town again?
Some really sexy guy on a
Yeah, some
surfboard.
really sexy guy who just swims in the water.
Austin Walker, the mayor.
Oh,
Mayor
that's
Austin
right.
Walker.
Austin
Played by
Walker.
the guy who plays Luke Cage, we decided.
In my head,
Yeah, Mike Poulter.
I've now decided that it's Isaiah Mustafa.
I don't know who
The
for
Old
me,
Spice guy?
He's the Old Spice guy.
Yes, that's right.
Well, for me it was The Rock.
I can see that. I
That's
can
who
see
I was
that.
thinking.
Who is your Austin Walker? What does he look like?
My Austin Walker is the person whose name is actually Austin Walker, whose name I took for something. Because all the names I take are usually from real life people.
Yep.
That's good to know for a future reference.
Yeah.
From podcasters,
Yeah.
it's Daniel's ongoing.
Inside joke.
Yeah,
Yeah, jokes mostly for me.
because naming people is hard.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah, I threw out.
Ask your parents.
I threw out there really quick, by the way. This is more for Stu, though. The name of the island was the Luchadeer Island,
Oh,
which
I
is, of
caught
course,
that.
Luchador.
Wonderful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But,
The whole island is just luchadored up, like,
Yeah.
just somehow.
yeah.
Have you,
great.
Have you been to San Diego to that luchador taco place?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, you need to go. The tacos
Whoa,
are so
we
good.
can't talk too much about it. It might be in the next adventure of Right Quest,
Dude, spoilers, God.
where they go to a taco paradise
In the Underdark.
in the
San Diego.
Underdark.
Wait, you're going to a taco paradise in the Underdark?
In San
I mean,
Diego.
what other story would one classically tell about the Underdark if not about the taco
anyway,
experience?
This is devolving.
As for the dark PowerPoints, back to that question.
Sure.
It was
We're
fun.
loopy.
Well, but
Well, I died, so Again, I'm the only person who dies on Friday Night Quest ever.
That's
I've
true.
said it 3
you are
times.
the only one that dies.
In all fairness, that was sort of a cheap shot that I did against.
Hey, man, that's what the item does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's felt fairly come up and see. It felt fairly
Yeah.
earned
Yes,
by the story.
it was definitely.
Can I
earned.
just mention, by the way, I was completely blindsided by how my arc ended. I had no idea that was coming, and it was delightful.
That you were a werewolf prince?
Yes,
That's why I was trying to have the dogs do a lot of the puppies get involved
right.
with you really quick.
I
That was
spent the first hour of our adventure just playing with puppies. It was fantastic.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was trying to figure out a way to tie everybody, give everybody an interesting artifact, and I was looking at some artifacts on. Shout out to Giant in the Playground forums. Checked out some stuff there.
Nice.
Was messing with it, and I found some really cool stuff. But I was for your character, I was like, what do I do? And I was like, I want it to be wolfy, but I also like fire, and I just decided what if he's a fire wolf? I guess.
I want
like
it to be wolfy, but I also like fire. Guys, dungeon mastering is not that difficult. It's really just about, I like this.
But I also
what
like
if this?
Yeah. Though you never went into your alternate form. I thought you would, your crazy flesh golem body.
I meant to, but I don't think I got a chance for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, you just kept
need to
hitting.
kill more innocents, man.
Yeah,
That
Always
house
kill-
was just full of them.
Always kill innocents.
It's like a house in a video game filled with rupees. Just go around and break the pots and collect all the gold.
Exactly.
I'd taken the path of the totem warrior or something.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Whatever.
You
right.
said that with such conviction.
Yes,
Yeah.
I kept forgetting what it was
The
called. That's
totem
why.
warrior.
Yeah. I figured because when I said the original plan for this was a lot longer, and these guys brought me down to earth. It was it cannot be that long.
even if we were doing a one-shot in real life,
we've
that's
done-
a lot.
We've done quite a few adventures of Friday Night Quest already, and there's kind of a timeliness that works out pretty well for the time in which we record. So when you were so it's going to be 5 to 6 encounters, and I'm let me stop you right there.
Because I wanted to have one encounter dealing with each character, and I was specifically going to delve into the worst thing that you've ever done in your secret. They were going to play into the encounter. That's why I wanted that to be the things that you told me.
Well, hey, now would be the perfect time to find out. I want to know what the different encounters were.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of, it was pretty vague. There was going to be a pool. There was going to be a pool that was full of sharks, but there was like a thing at the bottom. Yeah,
Who was that for? Who was that for?
Yeah, you said it was one for each character, right? So just
yeah, exactly. I was only about halfway through figuring it out, but like you were going to go to like one of the things you were going to face like a bunch of the enemies of your past, like there were going to be like an orc war band, like stuff that you had fought in like your mercenary days.
Oh yeah.
You were going to go to like a frozen place that was like all of like a cut off your emotions, and it was like a frozen realm and sort of stuff like that. I was designing. I didn't figure out how to tie this into Mike's character, but Mike's character technically had some mariner's armor that let him swim. So I was gonna like have a pool, like because it's a big old mansion. You're gonna go into a pool. There's a very cool indoor Roman pool at Hearst Castle that I was thinking of. It's pretty snazzy. But I was like, you were gonna dive into the pool to get treasure, but then like a glass dome would appear over the pool, and then the sharks would come out, and you would have to like break out of the pool and avoid the sharks.
Jeez, that's a pretty good trap. I mean, that would probably kill most people.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd have been fine.
And I hadn't figured it all out.
Who died?
Yeah, I was like rolling on like random encounter generators, and I was like, okay, what's an interesting? Okay, if I move this around, like, oh, what if they fought a dragon? And it was just like, okay,
boy,
yeah, all of this stuff.
It is called Dungeons and Dragons.
But then I eventually settled on the like, hey, you get the intro encounter, and then kind of I was thinking there were sort of two boss fights. I was thinking that if you really wanted to, you could have fought against Trey, and if you had defeated her, that would have given you a better chance of trying to like redeem Vincent. Not Vincent. Vincent's dead. Redeem Flint.
Thanks for that reminder.
And like I was even going to try to give you a little bit of a chance to like talk Flint into like realizing his mistakes, but you guys were very aggressive to him, understandably, because he was a vampire bastard. But there was a chance that you could, especially if you had killed the jailer, like you could have like got him to forgive. That's why both of those are very difficult fights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I realized that very quickly when I went unconscious immediately.
Yeah.
Yes.
You almost killed her, actually. She was very close to going down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really should have just hit her with my hammer again.
Yeah, if you hit her one more time, you would have brought her down.
The problem was she would have had a turn, and the house would have had a turn, and that would have not been a friendly round to Luca.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys should have just fought to get inside the house and rip the whatever. I don't need to tell you the tactical things. It's all over now.
Look, we did
Hindsight
everything
2020
perfectly.
Yeah, but I really
Says the one who died.
Yes.
yeah. But I really like the idea of like sort of a witch, the witch character who's like evil and like overseeing everything and like the true
kind of
mastermind.
like the puppet master.
Yeah, exactly.
The one you don't expect, basically.
Yeah, I mean clearly she was evil, but
right.
It's funny because the closest anyone got to saying to Flint, "Hey, it was your fault," or "You're at least not blameless," and that's in this situation. He immediately, drew arms.
Well, you were yelling at him. Like
Well,
if you would
all
have,
this- yes.
like if you had approached him in like a more diplomatic way, he might have listened. But when you were screaming at him, like you need to, you don't admit that your own fault. That's of course his button. And he went crazy and attacked. Also, we'd been going for a while. It's like, okay, let's have this fight. Let's go.
Did Flint have a worst thing he'd ever done in a secret as well?
Did he need one?
I didn't think he
I mean,
really needed
hello?
one.
He probably has a lot of them. Most of them are all the people he keeps eating.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably a pretty bad one.
That's
Yeah.
both a secret and a terrible thing he continues to do very frequently.
Yeah, exactly. He got everything he ever wanted, but not what he wanted, because that's how these things work.
That's how magic works.
Anyway, yeah,
Unless
it was.
you're Katya.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
which case, the dark powers just sort of mull it over.
Or
Well,
unless
because
you're
I mean, now
Xerek,
I don't have to
because
do
then
that
you become a
anymore. Think
werewolf
about
prince.
it.
Well, here's the
Think
thing.
about it now. I'm
Werewolf
not
Here's the
killing
thing.
anyone.
If you're marketing for the dark powers, they're like, look, guys, we got a pretty bad rap out there. A lot of people don't want to get involved with the dark powers because we got all these ironic twists, and you're trapped on an island as a vampire. Not a great deal. What if we throw some stories out there where sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you might get a sun god blade and get your own island with zero repercussions?
Well, because think about it. She doesn't have to kill anybody anymore. You know what I mean? Like that is
Like,
Yeah,
I think she's
which
gonna kill
means
some
that
people.
island would probably turn into a situation where she's forced to kill people, and she would keep having to justify to
No,
herself
I
it
would
was
just
for
be
the great.
president. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, exactly. The president's never had anybody killed.
No, not on my island.
Okay, you're the tyrant. You got the card. You were the tyrant.
Yeah. What was the other one?
The traitor.
The traitor.
I would have loved to see like the post meeting, because like now you own the house, so like you get all the servants together. All right, guys, I'm gonna be pretty transparent here. I killed Alex. Just let's put all the cards on the table. Now, look, I know you all feel pretty bad about it, so vacations for the rest of the week would have been a pretty good morale booster for the team.
It would have been, and then I would have had full reign of the house.
Yeah.
You would just explore everything, you know?
Here's the thing, but like, where's all the food? I mean, you're gonna have to go find like, where's the kitchen? This thing is.
boy.
That's what
There's
I
also a
mean.
pool in this house that has
Exactly.
sharks with a glass dome that will trap you in it and kill you.
Well,
That's not
the thing.
entirely canon.
That's the thing is, she could give everybody the day off or the week off and explore.
I don't think you understand the point of like hells that you get trapped in. It's not a cool deal.
Can you imagine like the dark powers just sitting at a table like, well, what happens? Like, we tried to do something ironic and then she just gave everybody the week off. I mean, we keep trying to throw all these twists at her, but she's just really, I don't know,
She's
nice.
quite nonplussed.
Yeah, it's just, it's brutal.
Canonically, if you look at the Ravenloft stuff, there was one person who got out that way, who like the dark powers kept trying to torture Lord Soft from the Dragonlance setting, and he was just like, yeah, no, this sucks. Yeah, no, that sucks. Yeah, I'm not gonna fight this. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. I don't care. I don't care.
Awesome.
He had a depressing version of what you're proposing, but he was, and the dark powers eventually were like, ugh, fine, whatever, and they kicked him out.
Wait, hang on.
She's completely unfazed by
so
all
this
of these
person
things.
was too depressing for the dark power.
Well, it was less depressing, more like, I'm not gonna fight this. Whatever, you win. I don't care.
Nihilistic.
Also, we got kicked out because of weird copyright stuff, but we don't need to get into all of that.
That's the real way to defeat the dark powers. Copyright infringement.
I think Luca was a bad guy from Jump Street. I think I was keenly aware as we were leaving the Zero session. I was like, I think I'm evil.
Yeah.
You're totally evil.
Well, he's certainly not a nice guy, and here's the thing. I've always wanted to have this character. I've had this character in my head for a while. Someone who has the about face. You know, the inspiration was, I think it's Saul from the Bible, who is like this really awful persecutor of Christians until he is literally struck blind by God, and God's like, turn your shit around, and so he becomes like super into Jesus. And it was like, what if that, but like a half-orc who like everyone hates,
But then also kills people still.
well, that's the thing, is like when I put him in this story and it's like, oh, his hammer eats souls, and I was like, cool. This guy ain't walking out of this clean. No, actually, you know what it was? It was when I decided that he had married Vincent's wife. That's when I was like, and he justified it to himself over the past 10 years.
It's true. Like, if your character is like, the Great Samaritan, he also wields the hammer that eats souls. Like, those two don't go together. Like,
he killed someone in a blind of fury and like, a horrible moment. Then he went and married his wife and lives with her, and she's pregnant with his first child. Be like, all right, well, one of those things could maybe be overlooked or understood or rationalized, and the other one is really a bad thing that a bad person does because he's bad.
Have you guys ever played evil characters before? Anybody?
No, not really.
I've never played evil characters
Yeah.
before. Not even a video game. I've tried and I can't. I'm like one of those people. I'm like, no, I'm gonna make the good choice.
Yeah, I can never bring myself to do the evil things in those BioWare games or whatnot.
Yeah.
Either.
I can't even choose the rude dialogue options. Like
Yeah.
I can't do
You
it.
just like feel objectively bad to these to these things that are just not real. I'm
To
just like,
these
I
lines
wouldn't
of
say that
code.
to this person.
If you give me the choice, I tend to go towards the nice. But like with this situation, I figured, give you guys a chance to give you an excuse to be,
I think I liked it too much.
Now, Sandra, you like embraced it
I
fully.
did.
You're like,
I was like,
yeah.
this is so wonderful.
You get that we've been dancing around that for a while, right? This is the implication that this is an intervention. We're all just
Yeah,
sitting
dude,
here.
we're not
telling
even
you.
recording right now.
yeah.
We're here to talk to you about your problem.
I have played an evil character in one of Daniel's campaigns, in a supervillain campaign,
Yeah, we did that one a while back. Yeah.
back in the day.
What was the name of your supervillain?
Mr. Dodger. He was
Now, what was his power set?
He was a super genius. He was a super genius he was like strong and tough as well, but his main thing was that he was an inventor.
Oh.
I believe the Artful Dodger.
Artful
was the
Dodger. There we go.
inspiration,
Yes.
Daniel was
Well-
sensing my question
well, the
being, why was his name Mr. Dodger?
Well, his backstory was that he didn't remember his own past. Like, he had done some experiments to give himself powers and then didn't remember why he had done those things. He didn't remember who that person was. So he's like, I guess I'll just be a villain because I don't know what the goal was. I'll just go and rob banks and build a lair. I got to design a lair for us.
That's
yeah,
fun.
That was a fun game, though it was a little weird because not everybody the levels of evil in our group
Quite
weren't
varied.
balanced. like some people are like cackling supervillains, and one person's like, I'm a misunderstood robot, and you were sort of in the middle, and it was
you're
like
more of a depressing character.
and it was
not
like,
an evil
how do we
character.
figure out how to get these guys to work together? And the answer was, well, we kind of didn't, but it was like, okay, well, roll dice and kill that guy.
Yeah, the answer was aliens. There's aliens attacking the Earth, so we'll just fight them and work out the rest later.
But a couple of other, like, some of the other games I've run, we had a character sort of, we played around with dark side stuff in a Star Wars game I was doing that unfortunately sort of went off the rails, but went into some interesting places.
Yeah, it's true.
And we played a game of Unknown Armies where some of our characters got pretty dark, and
Now-
they started, some characters killed each other.
Daniel, have you ever played an evil character?
Like I said, I don't play a lot of characters. I think I once played a Space Marine in Warhammer 40K, and that was probably the closest I got to evil. But that's just canon, to be
It's just because
perfectly
the
honest.
entire universe is mostly evil.
Mostly, I try to be. I try to be nice. I try to be the inspiration, because most of the groups that I've played with, they tend to be. A lot of my gaming has been a lot just like, oh, hey, let's go into that dungeon and kill all those guys and take all their stuff, which is
what good people do.
yeah, exactly. So I would always be like, hey,
Heroes.
let's figure this out. But I think in a lot of my games, while I don't try to make like, oh, it's going to be like, they rarely get as dark as this just got here in this game, where cold-blooded murder going on left and right. But oh, this evil organization's trying to control the world, but maybe they have a point, and maybe the ends do justify the means. Like sort of playing with ideas like that. But I can't bring my characters to actually do it, so who knows? Whatever.
Can I just say, it's interesting you were talking about levels of evil, because Mike and Sandra, you guys sort of leaned into being evil, while me and Jay...
Well, there was no leaning in
Well,
for Luke.
Well, fair enough. But
Yeah, Luca was all the way in. I mean, you kind of went in like, you
Oh,
dived
yeah.
head first. You were like, let's do this.
I got extra dark points because I really loved whenever Xerek had to like bow down to me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was so great.
That hurt Xerek's pride so much, but guess what? Greater good.
Yeah, see? The greater good.
Yeah, but that was my point, is that when we were talking about the backstory, it ended up that me and Mike's characters sort of squared off against Jay and Sandra's, and then this time it became sort of Mike and Sandra versus me and Jay at some points.
Yeah.
And I just thought
Yeah, there
that
was a switch. It was
interesting.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
how the
exactly.
dynamic
Yeah,
changed.
Interesting pivot.
they had changed over the years, I suppose.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like it'd been 10 years.
yeah.
Yeah, or it's almost like we had sat down for one session and we sat down in another session, and
Yeah.
things changed. Between
It's
the
also
weeks
just
we
a
did.
different situation where we're
Yeah.
fighting
Right.
over the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, if we're
History repeats
pillaging,
itself.
if we're pillaging like an evil ancient temple, I mean,
Yeah.
the sides are pretty much set up. But I mean, if we're on a vampire island, all bets are off.
Right.
It just so happens that Katya and Luca are the only practical ones.
Right.
Yeah, well, it
I'm
was.
not going to defend you.
That's fine. I'm not going to defend me either. I did bad things for bad reasons.
It was really a lot of
behind
fun. I've read about like Ravenloft stuff for years, which is very much this sort of like, hey, you get sucked into a weird prison torture realm. See if you can get out. It's the weekend from hell, and maybe you get trapped there, sort of thing.
Gothic horror, yeah.
It's not really Gothic horror. Gothic horror is
So it's
whatever,
the tabletop version of an escape room, or
sort of maybe.
A little bit.
Yeah. Gary Gygax invented the escape room.
Nice.
No, but I'd never actually run any of them before, and I really dug it, because normally I go for sort of longer form things, but I'd love to, anytime you need to fill in a slot, I'd love to throw in just another, like, hey, we're gonna have more random people get sucked into a hell
Stu wants to
dimension.
teach these kids about Valentine's Day with monsters.
Well, the other thing too, it was an evil campaign to a degree, but there was also, it wasn't like, okay, we are evil characters on an evil mission trying to take down the good guys. It was just like, hey, here's the situation. If you want to kill someone, you'll have power. That's an option that's open to you.
The thing is, I actually, in that certain respect, I feel like the action of a character that is not defined as evil making a choice like that, of just like, I'm going to kill this servant to give power to my blood weapon or whatever, I actually feel like that has more of an evil impact than if we're just starting a game and being like,
Automatically
hey, we're all evil, so
Yeah, go
like,
kill
just
that
so you
dude,
know, like,
yeah.
we're going to kill people and we're going to do terrible things, because like, that's how I built this
was
character.
the whole point.
Yeah.
well, shit.
Because evil is easy. we have to try to be good people. It's very easy to be bastards and like take the easy route, which is usually sort of cruel and mean and evil. Or at least that's my opinion. I'm not here to moralize, whatever. But but too late.
So I just want to make this clear. According to you, Daniel, Mike and Sandra took the easy way out, but because we weren't
I
evil.
sacrificed my morality for you.
I gave my life for you, man.
It looked like it was really hard.
I don't.
You guys got out.
You were like looking at the sword
Mike
again. You're like, what does it do
and
if I kill somebody? Oh, cool.
Mike and Sandra didn't do that. Their characters did. It's different. Also, I believe you made the mistake. It was not a sword that Mike had. You made the same mistake that I made 1,000,000 times. It was actually a hammer.
It's a sword in the monster
No,
manual.
I
Or no,
had
not the monster
the
manual.
sword.
You
No,
had
I
the
was
sword.
calling out Sandra's.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
he
talking about
was
Sandra's
calling
sword?
Yeah,
out.
every time I reference a sword, I was referencing.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just self-conscious about my dumbness. Yeah, the Black Razor. Black Razor is a sword.
That has very similar traits to
Yeah.
Alketh's now to Luca's Doom.
Yeah.
I will say that the item you were offering my character, Ash, it was like such a good item that I was like, oh man, all my spells just happen.
Yours was the first one I came up with, and it was the simplest, but I thought it was the, maybe arguably the most interesting one. Just like completely break one of the things about the game.
Yeah.
Because when I realized it was like, hey, it's a one-shot, and evil is easy, so let's just give them like some incredible like magic items.
Crazy powerful magic
Like
items.
Yeah,
literally world-ending shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Sandra made a giant red sun appear.
That's true.
And Sandra also has the loyalty of a weird ash werewolf who will now spread chaos throughout the realm, I think.
That's right. Not if I, monk-warlock ash person, has anything to say about it.
Tune in next time on Stu's Scary Stories.
No, we're not.
We're not doing that. We're not
I don't think we'd do a sequel. If we were to do a sequel, I would spend some time coming up with what Katya's ironic punishment would be.
There isn't one.
That'd be
She
your
just gets
main
to like
motivation for doing
relive
a sequel?
scenes from Risky Business in her socks.
Just sliding around the house.
Yes.
Da-na-na-na-na.
Yeah, and then like she'd have her own blacksmith area, and she'd build a bunch of like armor, and
Open
then
an Etsy store.
yeah,
Spend
and then
a lot of time thinking about
I would
this.
just defend the castle.
Oh, you'd constantly be being attacked by like it's mysterious enemies, and there would be traitors in your midst, and you would have to
Yeah.
Like, really, this is the retelling of the hero's journey. Like, halfway through the hero's journey, you gotta kill a servant somewhere.
I don't know. All I know is it's got an awesome castle. It's just
Again,
amazing.
this is what the gods are like. Gosh, she doesn't care at
werewolf
all.
prince.
She doesn't care about this irony that I'm crafting.
right. I'm just defending it.
It's probably a game to you. Like, ooh, let's see if I can figure out the traitor in my midst today.
I
This will be
sent a
fun.
dragon and she just killed it. This is just so
All right.
Well,
frustrating.
yeah, because all of my servants are now equipped with weapons.
it was.
Anyone who swears their loyalty to you, right?
And there's a reason that we stopped the story where we did, because as it continues, it goes off the rails even more. But it was.
I'm having a blast. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Well, it was a hell of a lot of fun. And I was really glad to do it. And again, you people are not coming to Friday Night Quest to hear me do weird adventures with a bunch of randos, but not.
If you want to do that, check out Dark Heresy on the Roll of Seas podcast.
Yeah, technically, yes. Check that out.
Take this
well
moment
played.
to shamelessly plug. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I got to write the next one.
Kittens?
But
First puppy.
yeah, I got to figure out what podcast in jokes I'm going to make. That's where I start. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, guys. I really appreciate
really
it, and it was
had a
great
great
playing
time.
with you guys. You were great.
Yeah, this was fun
You
to,
were
like-
able to engage into it. Yeah,
We play games with each other outside of doing these podcasts all the time, and it was just really fun to get kind of the off-mic crew like on the mics to play a game. It was very, very fun.
Right.
Yeah.
It had been a while since I had played, so I was like, when the opportunity was given, I was like, absolutely, count me in.
well, we got to have another one soon. Even if
Absolutely.
it's not on mic, it probably won't be on mic.
Secret
It won't be on
podcast you
mic.
guys don't get to hear.
And can I just say, we've all played D&D together, but this is my first time playing with Mike as an actual player, not
Yeah.
because Mike has only ever been DM for the games I've been in, and it was a lot of fun. It's very different playing with him as a player versus a DM.
Same with Jay and I playing
Yeah.
together for the first
We
time.
have never
Oh, wow.
been players in the same
Oh,
game
yeah,
together.
that's true.
Yeah, because you're always yeah.
One of you is always DMing.
Well, I've been glad to come in and change up the the
Thank you for
relationships.
facilitating, Daniel.
Oh,
Thank you
that's
for
what I'm here
being
for.
the catalyst.
And
I've been playing D&D since junior high, guys. I'm ready to go.
And hey, guys,
So you were like the kids from Stranger Things, but in real life.
thank
sort
you,
of.
audience, for listening to these
Right,
episodes.
and
Yeah,
I
thanks,
don't-
guys.
But Sandra was saying something. I didn't mean to talk
Oh
over
no,
you.
it's fine. I just wanted to say that I don't know what
Now you gotta
anybody
put a button
else
on it.
has taken away from this aftermath, but I really want to go visit Hearst Castle.
Yeah, you know what? If there's one thing to take away from all this, check out Hearst
It's
Castle.
Castle.
You might get to have sex in a pool there. Bye,
Full of
everybody.
sharks.
Pool sex not guaranteed.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. The Velvet League will return next week for our 13th season, where we'll be joined by special guest Taylor Glockner. Taylor's an actor best known for his work on the Australian shows Neighbours, Mako Mermaids, and The Strange Calls. Look forward to that adventure starting next week. In the meantime, you can follow Daniel on Twitter at LOTR_Dan. You can also follow the rest of our players. Jeffrey Gardner is at Jeff A+, Sandra Frame is at Miss O'Lean, and Mike Christensen is at Super Geek Mike. Photos and character art can be found in the show notes on partialart.com. And while you're there, why not check out some of our other podcasts, including Roll to Seas, where myself and Andrew Dickinger discuss the absolute madness of Warhammer 40k. If you have any questions about the show, you can email us at FridayNightQuests@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr, all under the handle Partial Arc. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
Yeah, I'm gonna loot the body.
So, how much experience do we get?
Well, now we have a skeleton army, so that's pretty neat.